Hey guys, it's Mike with Riding in the Ozarks, and some of you have seen this bike on social media, and it's got a lot of problems. And before we can get started on, we've got to get a battery for it. So that's today's video. All right, guys. So I bought this bike sight unseen based off of a video showing it running, and it was running when I got it. I thought I was buying an 883 1998 Sportster. Turns out, according to the title, it's a 1200 custom. Now, this thing is an anniversary edition, but it's had a lot of changes to it. You can see here on the fender, it says 95 years. It's the 95th anniversary, but let's just start right here in the front and go up. That is not a Sportster headlight. Those are not Sportster turn signals on there. Get a look from the side, but somebody's rigged that up. Those are off of Amazon or something. They've wired this in here. Lots of extra wiring. Electrical tape is all they use to make these connections, it looks like. We'll go on up here to the bars. We've got these really tall bars that I'm not a big fan of. I don't like the angle. I tried to rock them back, and when I rocked them back, it wouldn't start. So there's probably a short in the handlebars somewhere. Part of the reason I tried to rock them back is because these cables are almost tight. And when you turn the bike a certain way, they get real tight. So that's why I tried to rock it back, but that didn't work either. Now, if you're looking at this tank, you'll know that's not a Sportster tank. I mean, it's not like what I've looked at the stock pictures for this bike online, stock bikes that were for sale and stuff, and they had the Sportster gauge up here, had the regular Sportster tank. This is probably, I'm going to guess, came off of a Dyna or something. And, for the same year, but it's got rust there. They've got a fuel filter they've spliced in down here, probably because the tank is rusty. I'm not so much worried about some of the paint being missing here and stuff, but it's a little darker in the cases there in the front, so I'm going to guess that there's a gasket leaking. Hopefully it's not the case leaking, but I don't see it down the front of the jugs, which means it's probably a base gasket. But, we'll get this thing running and then we'll figure out what we want to do with it. Maybe we'll do a complete tear down on the motor or something. It's got a different sissy bar that's been put on it, which I don't mind particularly. But these rear tail lights and turn signals are not correct for this. I'm quite sure. So I did pick this up from Pig Trail. It was as is. I have no complaints. I mean, I got it for a steal, and it turned out to be a 1200, not an 883. It's got lots of chrome on this side and stuff, but it's got, I think, a short in the system because it drains the battery really quick. Now, if this battery that's in here has been on the tender, and if I turn it, we get just a hint of light in this light right here. I'll turn it off so you can see the difference. Yep. So I turn it all the way to the ignition, the light goes out. We'll rotate this around. And I put it in ignition mode. I've got this thing in neutral, but we're not even getting lights on the dash. Come up here to the handlebar, I got nothing at all. I think that battery is completely shot. It looks like there's been some more homemade wiring done here underneath the seat, so I'm going to probably have to figure out all this wiring and what's going on here. Maybe, replace some things, whatever I got to do. Maybe I'll even have to buy a wiring harness, who knows. But it did start when I got it, so I think we're just going to have to replace the battery to get it running again. So Kemimoto donated me a lithium battery for this project to help get this thing going. There'll be a link to this down in the description. We'll talk about some of the benefits of lithium batteries and some of the cons that you need to know about before you purchase a lithium battery. All right, we're getting this thing out of the plastic here and stuff, but you can see it's got a test button right here on the top of it. Press this button, and we says we're at 90%, so we really don't even need to charge it. We've got the old battery out, and as you can tell, these things are the same size. Same that way. Same that way. What's really kind of cool, traditional battery, you've got top and side bolts only though, but positive and negative are on one side. This battery has posts on all four corners. So I'll use these two posts to have my positive in the front and negative in the back. The cables were mounted on the sides on this battery. So we have side and top connections here. and a side connection on this side. Same thing over here. So I like that because it makes this very versatile for any kind of setup you might be doing, whether you need top or sides, whichever side. Now, obviously, you may need a spacer in there, and I have these little brass spacers that will go in there if you need that to space that out so that the cable can be flat against the side of the battery as well. This particular battery from Kemimoto is 960 cranking amps. This battery that was in it, 310 cold cranking amps. I have no idea how old this old battery is. Nobody marked it. It was in the bike when I got it, so who knows how old it could be. I don't see any markings anywhere on this for the install date. A lot of batteries, especially car batteries, do that. I'm going to write or put a sticker on the Kemimoto one showing what date I put it in. Now, one of the big advantages to lithium batteries is the weight. I'll turn this thing on. Zeroed out. 67.9 ounces. That's 4 pounds, 4 ounces basically right there. And that one doesn't even register on the scale. It's too much. Looks like I see 11 once in a while. So it probably tops out at 12 pounds. So that's at least 3 times heavier, if not more. I'll look it up and see what the weight of a battery like that normally is, and I'll put a little shot of it right here. I got the battery in. Now I did have some of these little spacers around here that I used because my cables are designed to be flat up against the side, and these terminals are a little bit indented. You might be able to see it there as well. There's a little better shot, but you can see that washer in there between the terminal and the cable. These cables are designed to mount flush against the side of the battery, and because these terminal posts are inset just a little bit, I had to use some spacers there. But we should be good to go. Battery says 90%. Let's see what happens when we turn the key on now. There's accessory, and we actually have headlight and both turn signals now. That's something we didn't have enough juice to even do before. Go ahead and put it in run mode. We now have our neutral and oil indicator light. Speedometer's lit up. This bike hasn't been started in over a year. Gas is probably stale. I'm not necessarily expecting it to start, but I am expecting it to crank really good. We've been in this place for a year now, and I haven't tried to start it since I moved in. So I bought it a year and a half ago. We're getting a hit. All right. Might have it flooded now. Oh, this fuel filter looks terrible. Definitely going to have to get some fresh gas and a new filter in there. Plan on replacing this tank, but let's give it another shot. Almost. We're getting closer, and I'm cranking away on this battery, and she's holding up good. Press the indicator, and it says we're down below half now. See how much more it's got. Well, the new Kemimoto battery has plenty of cranking juice to be able to get that thing started, even though it was being stubborn. It won't idle, I'm sure, if I let it warm up. Things like that, it'll get better. But I've got a bunch of other stuff to do to it, so I'm not so much worried about that. I'm going to go ahead and put my battery tender on it. So I'm going to use those top connections on there to hook up where my battery tender is going to go. And then I'll be able to keep this thing on a tender, keep the battery charged up, and start working on it. You can see here I'm connecting up my battery tender to the top of the post. I like the fact that I can have that hooked up separately with different bolts. This battery did come with 4 bolts, so I was able to have bolts for the top of the post and for the sides of the post. And we're still at 60%, this says now, after setting for a second, after cranking all that time on it. I went ahead and drained the tank and cleaned the fuel filter and put some fresh gas in it, and watch how easy it starts with this battery now. Ta-da! There are some things you should know about lithium batteries if you don't already know. And so we're going to talk about some of the pros and cons. Now, typically I would buy an AGM battery. They usually last 3 to 5 years. The lifespan on lithium is supposed to be 5+. I've not had one that long to find out if they really last that long. But I'm going to put this lithium to the test over the next several years. It fits multiple motorcycles I have, so I'm going to probably leave it in the Sportster, but if I should do something different with the Sportster or get rid of it, then I've got other bikes I can put it in to continue to test it. Now, lithium batteries generally have a little higher cost than AGM batteries to get started. For example, this battery is $152 right now on Amazon. The UASA battery for AGM that I would normally buy is $120 or $130. Now, also, if you don't already have any lithium batteries, you're going to need a special charger for lithium. Now, I think some battery chargers will charge a lithium battery, but they recommend you use one that's designed for lithium because you don't want to damage the battery maintenance system or the battery management system, BMS, whatever the M stands for. Fact is, I have a NOCO already, and I have an adapter for it to go to a standard SAE plug that I put on all kinds of batteries because I have tons of stuff I keep on chargers. When you have 4 or 5 bikes and 2 lawnmowers and all that stuff, I just put them on chargers in the winter. So I got a ton of battery tenders, and I have a special one for lithium. This NOCO is like $30 on Amazon. I'll leave a link to it in the description down below. And if you get the NOCO, you do need the $16 adapter. But I like the NOCO one. It does AGM, it does lithium, it does lead acid. So it adapts. It has charging profiles based on the type of battery. Now, if you live in a cold climate, they do recommend, at least from what I've read, it's recommended that if it's going to be below zero, below freezing or below zero, depending on the battery, take it out of the bike, store it inside in a dry place, ideally around 70 degrees. Now, I keep this shop above freezing in the winter, so I'm not too worried about that now. But when I had a shop that was not heated, I decided not to buy lithium because my shop would get below freezing. So that's something to consider. Now, this Kemimoto has a BMS system that cuts off when it gets down to -2 or if it gets over 177 degrees. So if it gets too hot or too cold, it shuts itself off to prevent damage to the system. Now, one of the things I've read about lithium batteries also is if it's really cold, turn the key on, turn the lights on, let it draw a little bit on the battery for a second or two, kind of warms the battery up, that little pull against it, before you go cranking on it, and it'll perform better. I know this thing was giving me fits earlier, so I actually drained all the gas, cleaned the fuel filter. The inside of this tank is a rusty mess, but I put a little bit of fresh fuel in it, and it fires right up now. So I'm going to fire this thing up, take it up the road and back just to make sure everything else is doing okay with it, and got some more projects to work on, but we are going to start working on this bike this summer. I think we're going to chop it, but I don't know that we're going to hardtail it. I think we're going to chop the neck and rake it out, but I don't want to go to a hardtail. I am going to be 54 years old this summer, and I just don't know that I want to put that kind of abuse on my back. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you liked this video and found it informative. I was impressed with how well the Kemimoto did on getting this bike fired up and stuff. I like the fact that it comes shipped with a charge from 80 to 90 degrees, so you don't have to worry about charging it when you get it before you can use it. That was cool as well. Thanks, Kemimoto, for giving us this battery for my Sportster project. Y'all stay safe, keep on riding, and we'll see you in the next one.